So you're preparing for either an online assessment centre interview or a face-to-face interview, or one that's done over Teams or Zoom, and you're getting generic advice, which is, oh, you'll be fine, just act naturally, just be yourself, you've got it in the bag. Listen, I've made this mistake before. It's the worst thing possible. I walked out of an interview knowing that I'd absolutely failed it. It was an absolute train wreck because I believed all the people who said, just act naturally, just be yourself, the job's yours. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was a train wreck. Now, you need to approach your interview in a completely different way for the police. I was just talking to one of our one-to-one clients, one of our academy clients yesterday, and they were saying that they've been told, yeah, you'll be fine at the interview, just act naturally, just be yourself. And then we tried out a question. I gave them a sample question, and honestly, it was terrible. There was no structure. There was a lack of detail. It was just full of cliches and buzzwords. It told me zero about them. Now, here's the problem. This individual had been watching some generic YouTube guidance that's out there. I know it's out there. I know it's out there. I've seen it from people who profess to show you how to become a police officer. They've never been police officers. They've probably never even been in a police station. What the hell do they know? Well, what do I know? Why should you listen to anything I've got to say? My name is Brendan from Bluelight, and over the past 31 years now, I've been coaching people just like you to succeed in promotion boards, specialist interviews, and in the recruitment process with a huge amount of success. We've got over 16,000 people who've been successful in joining the police over those years. And yes, I used to be a police officer, but don't just take my word for it. Check out our Trustpilot reviews. We've got over 800 five-star reviews, and we've just turned 5 on Trustpilot. Not 4.9, not 4.8, 5. It's almost too good to be true, isn't it? But just read the reviews. They're like awesome. All right, let's dive into the stuff that you really need to know. So first of all, look, this is an interview to join the police. It's not an interview to go and work in a call center where you can get away with interview answers that are just like 30 seconds long, 1 minute long. They're expecting interview answers to be around 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I always know when people have failed, and I know why they've failed, when they come to us and say, can you help us pass? Can you help me pass? I've failed my interview. I don't understand why. And I'll ask them, how long was the interview planned for? Oh, 45 minutes. How long was your interview? About 20 minutes. I thought I sort of nailed it in 20 minutes. No, you didn't, because you didn't provide the level of detail that's needed within the structured approach. Now, this is a second thing where people go wrong. They think that their personality is going to get them through and just acting naturally, just being themselves. No, it won't. You need to have a structured approach. There's 5 pillars to any awesome interview answer for the police. It needs the right kind of structure. Now, there's different structures for different types of questions. I'll come to some of those in a moment. And then we have detail. You need not just talk about what you did or what you're going to do, but how you did it or how you would do it in the future. It's the how. That's where the marks are. The marks are where the how is. And then we need some authenticity. Being humble enough to admit to when things don't go right, when things don't go to plan. Don't try and BS me on the other side of the table by trying to pretend that everything you do everything you touch turns to gold, because it doesn't. Mistakes happen. It was challenging and difficult. Things didn't go to plan. All right. So I need to hear about that, and I need to hear about what you're going to do differently in the future. This is really important. And what you're going to do differently in the future is not, I learned the power of open questions, or I learned it's good to collaborate. Those are just bullshit statements of fact. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for real learning that's connected with that incident. Number 4, emotional connect. If the thing was challenging or difficult, or if the thing you're talking about in the future is going to be challenging and difficult, talk about your emotions. Talk about how you handled them and how you handled the emotions of others. It's not a problem with that. You might be thinking, yeah, but I want to be a police officer. Surely police officers need to be hard and tough and resilient. No, not really. Look, you're human. And you're going to be impacted by emotions. You're going to pick up a lot of emotional trauma throughout your journey as a police officer. Most people experience about 3 or 4 traumatic incidents in their life. Police officers experience about 500 to 600. Yeah, you heard right. 3 or 4 for people who aren't in the police, 500 to 600 for people who are in the police. So look, I want to hear about how you're going to connect with that emotional side. I want to hear about how you're going to manage those emotions, and particularly how you have or will manage the emotions of those people around you. All right, you've got to look after people to the left and right of you. You've got to, as a police officer. Right, and the last thing, the fifth pillar. This is so obvious, but so many of you don't do it. Just answer the question that you were asked, not the question you were hoping to be asked. So many of you like going into the interview pre-prepared with, I've got a question, I've got an answer for this value, for this competency. Look, you need to have about 7 or 8 things in your life that you've done, that you've achieved, that you can dip into. This is a pool of experience that you're going to utilize. That's how you deliver awesome answers. And we've got, for our Academy members, this is where we coach people one-to-one, small group practice webinars. Check the link below or the comments. I'll put something in there about how to actually join us. This is how we can actually guarantee the results, because we don't go from a perspective of trying to learn the competencies, the values, or whatever framework your force has by rote, and hoping you can regurgitate that, and you've listened to someone who's telling you how to become a police officer and have told you to use buzzwords and phrases from that framework. No, just don't, because interviewers like me, because I've been on the other side of the table, can smell that kind of bullshit a mile off. No, we need to make sure that we're answering the question that we're asked, not the question we're hoping we're going to get asked. Make sense? Awesome. Hey, let's do some shout outs to some people who've just joined this live. We've got a shout out to Ethan, we've got a shout out to Leon, Samantha, Jamie, Eilish, Matt, Phil, Andrea, and looks like Simone. Oh, and Ali as well. And Shula's just joined us as well. So, and there's more as well. So that's just a few shout outs. All right, what else can I tell you about the final interview? Oh, I said I'd do some structure things for you. And by the way, if you're not joining me on the Insider Circle this Wednesday evening, ask for the link. All right, ask for the link in the comments and we will send you the link to join my Insider Circle. This is where, for members of our Facebook group, I go deep and share some of the secrets from our Academy program with people who aren't necessarily in our Academy program. It's about an hour long, and for those of you who've been up before, just let me know, put something in the comments, give us a love or like. They are awesome. They are awesome. It's an opportunity to go beyond the shop window, and I'll share lots of goodies. And this Wednesday I'm looking at interview question types and structures that we can utilize to deal with them. So to give you a bit of a flavor for it, a rear-facing question, tell me about a time when, would be the SAL model, which stands for situation, aim, action, result, learning. Forward-facing question, how in the future will you? We use the why, how, what model. And if it's why do you want to be a police officer, we don't come up with a shopping list of cliches. We use our hook, story, close. Hook, what was the incident or what was the person who influenced you doing? The story of how you've developed yourself, and the close, how you see all of that working as a police officer. Just works brilliantly. And so many other structures that we've developed beyond the simplistic STAR method, like just STAR. It kind of works, but we've adapted it, we've built on it, we've got our own proprietary systems and processes. This is how we guarantee the result. By the way, for our Academy program, for our Academy members, we do guarantee the result. If you don't pass, we give you all your money back. No questions asked. Like, how cool is that? It's a bold promise, that, isn't it? Bold. But we are that bold because we know we're that good. All right. Look, this works. It works because the police like structure. The police like detail. They like humility. They like you to be humble. They like you to talk about your emotions, and they like you to actually answer the question. All right. And when you do all of that and your answers are 4 or 5 minutes worth of absolute quality, then whether it's an online assessment interview, whether it's a Zoom or Teams interview, or whether it's face-to-face, you will nail it. Seriously, you will. I know you will. You'll nail it. I've worked with so many people just like you come into our program and they're like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to fail and blah, 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 but I still want to be a police officer. Listen, you're not failing because you're not going to be a good police officer. You're failing because there's 12 out of 13 applicants who are going to fail the process. Only 1 in 13 succeed. So we want to be that 1 in 13, don't we? Do we? We do. Awesome. All right, let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. I will answer all of your questions personally. Like, there's no AI bots in the blue light world. It's just real people. I will answer those questions personally. Hopefully this has been really useful for you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye for now.